Asians are shy, have poor social skills, and don't stand up for themselves. Now, that's one of the stupid things that I hear a lot of people saying, but some of the most talented people I know are Asian and Chinese. 那今天我们就来到第一部讲华人移民故事的电影首映，叫《Sight》， and we're going to talk to some really talented people. 在西方社会，很多人一直以来比较缺乏 representation， 但是好莱坞终于有一个真实的讲华人移民的故事。Who are you?
Hi, my name's Terry Chen. I play Dr. Ming Wang in Sight.
You're playing the role of a Chinese immigrant, the lead in this movie. Does that feel any different than the roles that you've done before?
Bringing to life someone who lived the life of Dr. Ming Wang was an absolute honor and privilege. And obviously to play someone real, we wanted to bring as much authenticity to the piece as possible.
This is the guy, first movie you really produced, right? A story of Chinese immigrant. That sounds so crazy.
Why did you want to get involved with this?
Dr. Wang is an infectious person, right? So you meet the good doctor and you can't help but want to be around him. You can't help but want to just help him out through all that he had gone through. And I thought something inside of me, a seed was planted, like I can relate to you. I didn't know how, right? Because he's got such an extraordinary story, but I related to something and I realized if I can relate to this story, I think millions of people can relate to this story.
And I think this is the key thing here, because a lot of people tend to just talk about their differences, but if we talk more about our similarities, we'd realize that we actually have a lot more in common with one another. At their core, people are all the same.
不要觉得自己是华裔或者是自己是移民，你就会觉得低人一等。你生活在美国，你就是这个社会里的人，不要羞于启齿，或者说不要害羞，走出来。说我们的故事。
By the way, before we get further into this, I legitimately think that sharing more Asian stories is really important. So Sight, this movie, hits theaters on May 24th. And if you want to send Hollywood a message to film more movies like this, the box office numbers are going to be really important. So check out the link below, type in coupon code IAMIN. Get buy one, get one free. 买一送一. You buy a ticket, you can take a friend for free. I make zero money from these ticket sales. I just really think that these stories are important. And because, like I said, so many of the talented people I know are Asian, go on social media, hashtag #IamIn. Share your story. I am in. Are you?
As the child of, Chinese immigrants yourself, and an actor in Hollywood, where Chinese people maybe sometimes don't get as much representation, how did that feel for you, just like being able to do this?
It was a special privilege. It was a special privilege that I did not take for granted, and want to keep the conversation going about, showing more diversity on screen.
How did you get involved with the story of a Chinese immigrant?
Fair question. Very fair question. So my grandmother actually was born in Shanghai and grew up in Shanghai.
Really?
I just had something on my heart because growing up we had that sort of cultural experience, with outside of the family. And so growing up, I always had this heart for, I would love to tell her story or a story about, But of course, as you can see, we're not, how is that going to happen?
Now you hear a lot of these people talking, and the driving force that brought all of them together is this guy, Dr. Ming Wang. He and a lot of the guests there told me so many Asians are talented, but they're afraid to stand up for themselves. They just need to do one thing.
就是要有自信，对不对？我觉得谦虚可能是好，要谦卑，但是不能过度的谦虚。这过度的谦虚就是没有自信。
How did it feel working on just an Asian movie? You're not an Asian guy.
It was an honor, first off. I had to do a lot of work to actually dig into the Asian culture, the traditions, and try to respect it without any angle. Part of the beauty of having someone that's outside of the culture actually do work on it is that I don't have any angle. I wasn't trying to create a political piece or any kind of a piece about, I just wanted to tell the story of Dr. Ming Wang. And so I worked very hard to understand the child who grew up in a difficult time, the teenager who had to overcome extraordinary odds, and the doctor who then became a world-renowned surgeon that has saved the sight of millions of people.
So I don't know what to say, but David, thank you so much. Without you, we won't have this.
It was a beautiful experience to be able to collaborate and go through Ming's incredible story. Holy cow, like what a story. And here we are, like 3 years later, on the red carpet celebrating.
So I think this movie is really important because people shouldn't be so humble. They need to be confident. They need to just actually show that they are talented. Otherwise, you might get passed up for opportunities, for just anything that you want to do in life. And I know I might be preaching to the choir, but when more people stand up to tell their stories, change starts to happen.
马老师 Rita's your wife, right?
Yeah.
他的老婆在封神教我们中文呢。
他是在封神剧组的演员。
This wave of representation is so crucial at this moment. Although it's amazing, but I think it's really hard for audiences to be involved story-wise. That's my personal opinion. And there has to be some sort of connect. I don't know, it's just really difficult to, but I'm so proud of the AAPI community for putting out a film like this on the silver screen to show our individualism and just these complex stories with rich history and just perseverance, you know? So it's I hope more people would watch, but I think we have to figure out how to find the common ground as human beings to be inspired and to watch these films that have a common theme. So it is a challenge, but it's getting there, you know.
很多新的移民或者就是移民的孩子，这些 ABC 什么的，他们在主流社会有一定的影响力，其实还是有点困难。有时候，您觉得就该怎么做，还是需要什么样的一个品质？
实际上还是讲的一句话。作为第一代移民，我们来到美国，最基本的一个原则还是要守诚信。因为这也是说，诚信是成功的必要的因素。这也是我们对下一代所做教育的时候，你可以做很好的学生，你可以学习很出色，但是你没有诚信，你是一事无成。
因为认识的人比较多，我就和朋友介绍说，哎，这位人很优秀，在哪个行业是怎样怎样。有的时候被介绍的那个人马上自己就说就是哦不是的，我心想这种人连基本的自信都没有，欠缺，所以我们要像王医生一样，像王医生这样，不但是把自己的专业做得好，而且在对于说出来这一方面，也是在全美做了一个尝试，是我们的榜样。
And one of the things that I've noticed is with a lot of my Chinese friends, students, it's just like they're way too humble. If you don't let people know how talented you are, they're just not going to know. You're going to miss out on a lot of opportunities that you really want.
Oh, and another thing I think is important is not just speaking out and being heard, but also from a more personal level, stories are important for family.
I watched that film and I thought about my grandpa who just passed away in August last year. And I was like, damn, I really got to work harder.
I didn't think I was going to get emotional, but I've been learning more about my family history, and I'm realizing how hard it is, because I know we've been trying to talk to my grandma about like her time in China and her, you know, coming to Canada.
I feel like my grandpa's had to work up 4 generations. I started homeless, nothing in his bank account, nothing but his clothes, and then raised my dad. And my dad started out, you know, without much, and worked enough to get him and his wife to the U.S., get his master's degree done, and then raise me and my sister. So how do I compare to these two people who both left their countries and sacrificed everything, you know? And that's why I'm on this road that I'm on now.
And it's so interesting because like watching that was a very like really touching moment where I kind of could put myself in my grandparents' shoes a little bit and understand just how much they sacrifice, but why they implement hard work, school, and dedication so much, so I can understand where all that comes from now.
我们华人呢，都太实在了一点，说到做到。但在西方的公开社会，你不告诉人家，人家就不知道。所以我们要改变自己，我们不光说到做到，我们还得做到，还要再说到。这电影 Sight 就代表这一点。虽然说很多华人在各行各业做的工作比我好多了，但是我们都太安静了。所以想通过电影Sight，我想抛砖引玉吧，使得所有华人各行各业都能够被 inspired. It's time for 华人 to stand up, speak out, and tell our stories.
If you really want to make a change, the most important thing is for people to actually share their stories. We need more dialogue. We need more representation. Just remember, Sight comes out on May 24th. Check out the link below. I am in for a buy one, get one deal. And remember, like I said, I am in. Are you?